I think part of the problem in Western societies is we've told women that being a mother is not as fulfilling as working in a Fortune 500 company.
Are Christians hurting the future of Christianity by having less children? Let's talk about it. Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon defended the biblical structure for a family, and this was awesome to see.
But what they're doing with allowing mass migration in the UK, you see it in England and Ireland, and it's really weird. Because, like, where does this end up? Because it seems like it ends up with some places that have Sharia law.
Yes.
And especially when you consider like how many babies they're having versus how many babies the English people. I mean, they're openly talking about it. We're going to outbreed you.
This is why
studies show that by like 2070, I think they'll match the Christian population, and then after that, they'll just take it over population-wise.
When people talk about this issue, they often use the example of, you know, Western countries not reproducing enough, not replicating their population, and they go, well, there's going to be a crisis because people are not having enough children. So immigration is needed to sustain the population. What they never talk about is why people aren't having enough children. And a lot of it is because economically, they feel like they cannot afford to. Culturally, there have been policies that have, you know, focused on things outside of the family. We haven't had a ton of like pro-family policies in Western countries.
Real quick, I'm not going to focus on the political immigration side of this as much as the effects that this has on Christianity. If you want to know some of my views around immigration, I have a couple of videos on those that I'll link in the description.
There's a little bit of that, but then there's also the issue that a lot of people have careers and they're trying to wait. Okay, so if you're a woman, and you're
this is speaking my language. Please go.
In your 30s, and you decide wait. Okay, so if you're a woman. And you're in your 30s and you've decided you want to have a family and, you know, you're 35, 36. As you get older, the odds of you getting pregnant drop pretty radically.
Well, but this is part of the problem in Western societies is we've told women that being a mother is not as fulfilling as working in a Fortune 500 company.
Right. 100%. And just being anecdotal here, I'm 29 years old. I've been married for 10 years. And I am still in the great minority from all my friends that I went to high school with. Still, the majority of them don't have kids. Again, they're about to hit 30. And for a lot of them, the idea of having kids, it's like it's still too early for them. Whereas I've been married for 10 years and I have 2 kids and another one on the way. And my wife stays at home as well. She didn't believe that her highest calling was to go work at some company.
I don't know any women that are mothers that regret it or are unhappy. Most of the happiest people I know are women with children. Truly.
100%.
They're very happy if that's what they want. And if they're very miserable, if that's not what they want.
I'm not saying they all should have children, but there's a lot of people. You know, when you meet a young couple with children, I've never met happier people personally.
I've never been happier in my life than after becoming a father. And I was deeply happy before. I have never been happier in my life than now that I'm a father. And I love what he's saying here, and I appreciate even what Joe Rogan says. He's saying all the parents I know, they're all so happy. They love having a family. They love having children. And then Joe Rogan says, well, then some people, though, they don't really want to have kids, so then they're not happy. And so the conversation is we should want to have children, and we should see them as the blessing that they are, and how they're even a more important blessing than working for some company.
No,
that's true. As long as they're getting along and as long as the woman actually wanted to have children.
Yes.
But there's a lot of women that are like, there was this lady that I knew back in California that it was really sad. She was like super career oriented, and she had a child that was friends with my child, and she was never home. I mean, she would get home at like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. She worked in, you know, high profile business. And was there all day long. And when she came home, she was exhausted and short tempered, and you know, it was not good. Like, it was not good. And the kid was miserable.
And the kid was upset.
Yeah, but it was a lady that tried to have a kid later in life. She was a career woman, you know, and she had, like I said, high profile job, very important job, and the kid was a distraction.
That's such a sad statement. The kid was a distraction. And Joe Rogan sees that as a sad statement because at the end of the day, more than your CEO needs you, your child needs you. And I think this is what even a lot of Christians are missing right now. They're seeing children like something that like, well, later on, maybe. And if so, we got to worry about all these logistics first and make sure that we'll still be extremely comfortable as we have children. And I think they're missing out on major blessings, and they're making the mistake of being unwilling to forego certain comforts. And because of that, they're missing out on greater blessings, such as having children.
I'm not saying that women aren't capable of having jobs, or there's many women that are amazing in the corporate world, but I am saying that like when you completely, you know, center a culture around ideas outside of family, career, money, status.
Yeah.
And you build a structure around all of those other things. And you go, well, maybe we'll have one kid to have a bigger house. Or maybe we'll have one kid to live in a better neighborhood. And you start going, well, wait a minute. What is the purpose of this? And a lot of that seems to be somewhat by design. And then other cultures come in that do value family and having lots of children.
Yeah.
They are going to outnumber you pretty quickly.
And again, they're going to be happier, man. I want you to know this. If you're one of these people that goes, maybe my wife and I will have one child. We'll have one child so that we can have a big, nice house, really comfortable, super nice cars. I promise you, you will be happier if you have more children versus having the bigger house. I can basically guarantee you that you'll be happier if you had more children. My wife and I, the calculus for us is we want to have children. We want them to have siblings. We want to have a happy family. However that plays out financially, again, we're not going to have 30 children, but our priority first is having a great, blessed, happy family. We want to have children. The more the merrier. It's a blessing. In the general sense, the more the merrier. It's such a great blessing, and we'll figure out the rest of the stuff. At the end of my life, I don't think I'm going to say, I wish I would have just had one child and then therefore had a bigger house. I think I'm going to be so happy about the fact, I know I'm going to be so happy about the fact that I was willing to forego some financial comforts so that I can have more children in my life.
And their values will become the values of the larger society.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing that's going on,
and so there's that part of it that the more people have kids, the more they're going to inculcate those values into their children, and those values are going to permeate society. So I think this is where Christians are making a mistake here. I'm all for evangelism. I'm all for preaching the gospel. But if we want Christianity to have even more of an influence in our culture, we should have more children, inculcate these Christian values into them. They are our first mission field. Evangelize our own children, and therefore Christianity permeates the world even more. If you want Christianity to grow and flourish, in this sense, you should want to have more kids if you can.
too, is that from, the 60s, 70s, and then when I was a child, you could sustain a family on one income.
That's right.
Today, that's virtually impossible. If you're making $50,000 a year, $60,000, it's really hard. It's really hard to get by.
Yeah.
And if you have a wife and a family, and you have bills and a car and
It's
maybe
terrible.
2 cars, it's rough.
Yeah.
And Dave Smith talked about that.
Yeah.
Thank the people who brought us into wars that cost trillions of dollars.
Well, not only that.
Yeah, I want to give grace to people as well who say, well, yeah, this is financial. Yes, it is really hard for people. It is really hard for people to live off of one income. I totally get that. However, for a lot of people's situations, though, it's not that they couldn't do it. They're just not willing to sacrifice certain material comforts. And I just think they're missing the point here, especially if you're a Christian. You are missing out on such a greater blessing than whatever material comfort you're holding on to at the expense of having more children. Again, when you just think about it from a Christian influence perspective, okay, regardless of how you feel about immigration, you should, if you're a Christian, want to have more children, more Christianity, more Christian influence. Again, you are evangelizing to your children. All this stuff compounds on top of one another. Add to that you make sure that you don't live beyond your means and try to live so that you can always keep your children as your number one priority, giving the focus on them. It'll turn out better for them spiritually. It'll likely turn out better for them physically as well, materially as well. And things get better and better when we focus on our families first. That's God's will for us. Is this crazy? Is this too far-fetched? Is it crazy? Is it too ambitious for me to say, if you're a Christian, you should want to have more kids? Let me know what you think. Maybe I've gone too far with this. I'm very curious to hear what you have to say. I love you very much. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. To see the full version of this and every video that I do, you can check the link there in Patreon for as little as $5 a month. You can get the extended version of this and every video and some other perks as well. I love you very much. Let me know what you think. God bless you. Lord willing, I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.